In the soft murmur of the afternoon, a specter of a man, weathered by age and circumstance, settled into the sunlit solace of a tired office, lost amidst the vibrant tapestry of Tarrytown, Louisiana. His name was Alden, an elderly private investigator who, like a forgotten relic, wore the ghostly remnants of a life once mired in life-threatening illness. It etched deep into his skin, drawing lines as intricate as the stories he had buried within him. His deep-set eyes, the color of a storm-swept sea, radiated a quiet resolve, a silent promise of battles fought and won. Upon his worn mahogany desk, a parchment lay like an expectant shadow. With hands as gnarled as ancient oak, he unfolded it, each crease a scream of urgency that echoed in the silence. It was a letter from his sister Martha. Her granddaughter Ellen had vanished like dew at dawn. The words, tinged with fear and sorrow, swam before his eyes, sinking into his heart. The ghost of a smile touched his lips, lost as he was in the memory of Ellen, a spark of youth and vitality, a beacon in the gloom of his twilight years. She was the laughter of springtime mornings, the hope of harvest moons, a loved one whose safety was a call he couldn't ignore. Summoning the town's taxi, a yellowed, rattling relic from another era, he directed it to the outskirts of town, where metal graveyards yawned amidst fields of waving grass. From a distance, the junkyard stood like a rotten tooth, gnawed by time and abandonment, a grotesque monument among the serene pastoral life. It was here, the last place Ellen was seen, her history intertwined with forgotten carcasses of once cherished vehicles. Upon reaching the rusted gates, his greeting to the junkyard's keeper was met with a curt nod. The old man, cheeks sunken, eyes hollow, radiated an aura of brooding unease. "Heard about the girl," he croaked, his voice a gravelly echo. "Nothing happens here, though, except the wind." Alden gazed upon the hulking shadows of the junkyard, the sighing wind whispering tales of loss and secrecy through hollow car carcasses. Yet the whispered secrets, murmurs of unspoken dread, began to tug at the edge of his consciousness. The slow, insidious descent into the heart of cosmic horror had begun. In the twilight, he returned to his musty motel room, the day's encounters weighing heavy. His weary reflection stared back at him from the window, a silent observer against the backdrop of the slumbering town. The world was oblivious of the secrets it held, the looming horrors veiled behind the facade of a quiet life. As he turned the lights off, ready to embrace the solace of sleep, he promised himself that he'd uncover the truths hidden beneath the junkyard. The night echoed with quiet apprehension as he unknowingly stood on the precipice of an abyss, the whispers of the wind morphing into a haunting lullaby of the darkness that lay ahead. The tale had only just begun. As dawn broke, Tarrytown was painted with strokes of golden hues, a picturesque tableau untouched by the tempest that was slowly gathering. Alden woke, his sleep fractured by dreams sown with echoes of hushed whispers and rusted iron. Breakfast was a muted affair, his mind preoccupied, painting images of the day ahead on the canvas of his solitude. Venturing into the town's heart, he felt the eyes of the inhabitants on him. Their gazes were a strange blend of curiosity and apprehension, darting away when met, retreating like skittish animals into the shadows. Tarrytown's people were an unsung melody, a discordant symphony that left an eerie hush in its wake. He was drawn to the local tavern, the Broken Spoke, a time-worn establishment standing like an old familiar song amidst the chatter of everyday life. Inside, he found himself ensconced in a cocoon of warm, dim light, the air heavy with the mingling aroma of brewing coffee and old wood. The tavern's keeper, a hulking man named Sal, welcomed him with a nod. Their conversation started with mundane chatter, the price of the local catch, the imminent rainfall. But when Alden gently steered it toward the junkyard, a veil of disquiet fell upon Sal's visage. His voice wavered, carrying whispers of strange midnight gatherings, unexplained disappearances, and an unsettling hush that fell over those who ventured too close to the graveyard of forgotten metal. Through the murmuring crowd, Alden's seasoned gaze landed on an old woman cloaked in black. The air around her seemed colder, her form a silhouette against the flickering tavern lights. As their eyes met, he saw in them a reflection of his own fear. In a brittle voice that carried the weight of 100 untold stories, she spoke of the cult of the forgotten shadows, worshippers of an unholy power that resided beneath the junkyard. She spoke of brainwashing, an insidious manipulation that turned kin against kin, consuming their will and erasing their past. Her words, a chilling symphony of truth and terror, laid the foundation of a cosmic horror he was yet to comprehend fully. As the sun set, casting long, macabre shadows over Tarrytown, he retreated to his motel room, his mind a labyrinth of doubt and dread. His world was being subsumed into a tale as old as time itself, a tale that transcended the realms of human understanding. Each piece of evidence he gathered was a brushstroke, coloring his world with hues of an impending doom. His sister's granddaughter, the disappeared Ellen, was a damsel entrapped not by mortal villains, but by an insidious, cosmic horror. With a resolve that only a loved one's plight could ignite, he steeled himself for the descent into the very bowels of the unknown. As the nocturnal symphony of Tarrytown played outside his window, he stood like a lonely soldier in an invisible war, prepared for a battle that could cost him his sanity. Yet with each beat of his heart echoed a vow. He would brave the cosmic terror to save Ellen, to save Tarrytown. In the eerie pre-dawn silence, Tarrytown lay wrapped in an ethereal cocoon of mist and moonlight. Olden stood at the precipice of the known and the unknown, his shadow a solitary figure against the silhouette of the ominous junkyard. It was a ghostly sentinel, an unknowing custodian of the unspeakable horrors that slithered beneath its rusted surface. As he pushed open the creaking gate, each groan was a mournful lament echoing into the thick, oppressive air. He moved like a specter through the twisted maze of forgotten relics, each step a tentative question asked to the hush that hung heavy and unbroken. A chilling breeze wound its way through the hollow cavities of abandoned vehicles, whispering dread-filled symphonies into his ears. The townsfolk, caught in the malevolent grip of the cult, moved mechanically. Their eyes, once vibrant, were dull and distant, as if their souls had been skimmed off, leaving empty husks. The realization crept up on him, his heart pounding a dreadful rhythm. They weren't merely quiet, they were voiceless victims, enslaved within their own minds. His resolve led him to the heart of the junkyard, an area so thick with rust and shadows that it seemed almost corporeal. There he discovered the entrance to the subterranean labyrinth, a gaping maw in the earth, ready to swallow the unsuspecting into its belly. Every instinct screamed at him to retreat, yet the image of Ellen's radiant smile beckoned him onwards. Descending into the crypt-like catacombs, he was assaulted by an otherworldly energy. The air tasted of stale fear, the walls pulsated with a primordial rhythm. In the chilling silence, he heard them, the whispers of countless souls echoing in the darkness, the forgotten shadows. His flashlight cast trembling beams on the twisted murals adorning the tunnel walls, reflecting grotesque renditions of an entity, monstrous and ancient, being worshipped by cloaked figures. The final revelation hit him like a crashing wave. The entity was real, a cosmic deity, ancient beyond time, feeding off the will of Tarrytown's people. He stood at the threshold of an unfathomable reality, confronted with the sheer enormity of his discovery. He was a man peering into the abyss of cosmic horror, and the abyss stared right back at him. Sweat poured down his face, his eyes reflecting the macabre tableau. His world, so long grounded in facts and evidence, was shattered by a horrifying truth that threatened to unhinge his sanity. The fear rose like bile, yet so did his determination. Beneath the deafening echo of his own heartbeat, he could hear the stolen whispers of Ellen, a soft whimper against the cacophony of cosmic horror. He was close. Steeling himself for the impending encounter, he ventured deeper into the abyss, armed with nothing more than his unwavering resolve. The slow dance of dread was nearing its crescendo. Beneath the deceptively calm surface of Tarrytown, Alden moved further into the abyss. The tunnel's gut stretched into an enormous cavern, a grotesque cathedral forged in the belly of the earth. Illuminated by the sickly glow of luminescent fungi, the chamber pulsed with an inhuman rhythm, a heartbeat echoing through the bowels of the world. In the heart of this alien sanctum, a monstrous entity thrived, its form obscured by shifting shadows and writhing tendrils of darkness. The sight was maddening, a living nightmare, a cosmic horror from beyond the veil of reality. Around it, the townsfolk, enslaved by its insidious will, moved in a rhythm of demented worship. Amidst them, he spotted Ellen. Her youthful spark was dulled, her vibrant eyes reflecting the darkness around her. His heart ached at her state, the sight of her a stark reminder of his harrowing purpose. He crept closer, his heart pounding a thunderous beat against his ribs. Every step closer to Ellen was a step deeper into the maw of madness. He could feel the entity probing his mind, whispering seductive promises of oblivion. Its cosmic power was intoxicating, threatening to drown him in an abyss of terror and despair. And yet a glimmer of human spirit flared within him. His love for Ellen, his need to protect her, shone like a beacon, cutting through the oppressive darkness. Gathering every ounce of his will, he broke into a desperate dash, snatching Ellen from the clutches of the cosmic entity. Her vacant eyes flickered with momentary confusion, then a spark of recognition. The cavern erupted into a chaotic symphony of anger and fear. The entity roared, its monstrous form twisting and undulating. Alden, clutching Ellen tightly, sprinted towards the exit, pursued by the echoes of the abyss. Emerging into the pre-dawn air, he felt reality crash upon him like a breaking wave. As the first rays of morning painted the sky, Tarrytown lay oblivious of the cosmic horror lurking beneath its surface. Exhausted yet defiant, he looked down at Ellen, her eyes fluttering open, innocence peering through the veil of confusion. Yet as he navigated the streets of Tarrytown, the faces around him seemed forever changed. They were free yet irrevocably altered, victims of an unseen war waged in the heart of cosmic terror. He himself was a changed man, the weight of his encounter etched deeply into his being. As he handed Ellen over to a relieved Martha, his tired eyes swept over the horizon, a profound understanding dawning upon him. He had stared into the abyss, danced with cosmic horror, and had emerged alive. Yet he could never unsee the horrors that lay beneath the surface of reality. His battle had ended, but the war raged on in the shadows of existence. Tarrytown returned to its sleepy rhythm, the morning sun casting long shadows that held secrets too terrible to comprehend. As for Alden, he was a silent guardian, a weary soldier in a war against the incomprehensible, bearing the scars of a tale too terrible to recount, yet too important to forget. His quiet existence was now a testament to the whispers of cosmic horror, forever echoing in the wind. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe to our channel, where you can find more similar stories, and click on the bell icon to never miss one. There is plenty more cosmic horror to come from the Eldritch Tales Factory. Stay tuned, and until next time.